Before we begin, thank you very much to Titanium Megatron Did Nothing Wrong. Prime was the villain for joining the Patreon campaign. I'm going to start watching to see who is making these requests, to see if it is just the same person poking me for $1 at a time just to get me to say things about Titanium Megatron. Don't know. If this is a collaborative effort, congratulations. You're doing good. I do have one shout out in the queue that I'm going to sit on for a while because I need to be in the appropriate setting for it. Namely where I'm not going to freak out the neighbors. So give me a bit. I'm going to wait on that one, but it will be on the way. But for now, let us go into the news for the week. It is a Monday. We need to do the news for the Transformers universe. So, as an early Christmas present, the Transformers staff over on Instagram gave us an early look at Commander Longhaul and Hook, the upcoming Studio Series 86 releases for the two. Really surprised to see these two so quick after the reveal of the first two. And apparently the pre-orders for the Commander is going to go up early next year, so we're not going to have to wait long before we can get our hands on, at least before we can put our orders in and secure our Constructicons. So yeah, we found the solution for all the extra parts. So Longhaul is not going to form the actual pelvis of Devastator. He's going to be a component somewhere in the midsection, but a lot of the connective engineering has gone into the rear section, this trailer that he is now towing, because you know how you always see these, giant, you know how you always see these dump trucks pulling trailers? You know how that's such a common thing? But we kind of suspected it would be something akin to that, so, okay, no big surprise. The spoiler for Devastator is in there for his chest. Looks like some of his arm components as well. Yeah, this is about the solution I was expecting. Built-in combining is what we got with the Combiner Wars, and you know all the complaints. They know the complaints too, because they made specific point to mention, yes, they have elbows. They are fully articulated this time. I do like how they're scaling. I will say that. It's like it's a little bit hard to swallow that like we're getting large-ish deluxe for some, small-ish Voyagers for others. So this is two Voyagers with a bunch of extra parts to bulk it out. I do like seeing that Hook actually has the head integrated into him. That's always nice when they can work that in. Yeah, and then on the box art, a lot of people are accusing Hasbro of going to AI art for the box art, and this genuinely does look like that. One of their replies said that this is preliminary, and this might not actually be the final box art that's actually going to be depicting the characters. If this is the final art, because this looks very AI generated. This absolutely looks very AI generated. If this is the direction, if Hasbro's doing this for art from now on, I'm going to be extremely upset. I am going to be extremely upset with this. And yeah, like aside from just how like simple it is, especially like on Hook's legs, I can also see where the legs are mismatched. The details are not mirrored. Yeah, this is AI generated. It's not the first time. I think that there was someone else that got posted that they got called out on that for. So yeah, not happy. It was Superion. There's a piece of Superion that looked off because it was using details from a different character. I'm not happy about this. I'm very unhappy about this. Hasbro, I admit, already does a terrible job at highlighting and crediting their artists, both sculpting and illustrator. This is more of an insult. This is more of an absolute insult. Okay, we'll focus on the toys. They look good. The Constructicons are coming together nicely. And yeah, they do look good all together. We have one shot of Devastator 2 that's still using a prototype Mixmaster and Scavenger. Done up like this, I'm not seeing as many of the weird proportion issues as I had before. It does still look a little odd. You know, like the leg below the knee still looks a little bit short to me, but like it looks better than it had in previous shots. So I'm willing to give it a little bit more credit than that. I think it helps that there's extra blocks to actually raise up the leg, and the knee joint is actually like somewhere in that Devastator block. It's not like at the connection point. So that's all well and good. Okay, so that part of it is looking better than it was before. I'm still looking forward to the toy itself, because this does look like a really solid Devastator release. Okay, so moving on from that, we do have in-hand shots for the Mandalorian crossover Transformer. Apparently designed by people who used to work on the Star Wars crossovers. Interesting. Okay, they seem to have gotten better, because this does look far better than the previous attempts. Also, I think his ship, I think the N1 just actually like lends itself to being a Transformer a lot better. The shapes are right for it. I'm not big on Star Wars these days. I've been burned way too many times on some really bad shows and movies. I know The Mandalorian's the standout. Everyone loves The Mandalorian, so no surprise this is the Star Wars crossover they went with. I'm not sold though. I'm not into Star Wars enough to go in for like an expensive collab figure like this. Maybe if it's one of those collabs that ends up on sale, but given the popularity of the character, probably not. I do think it is clever. I do think it's clever, like he actually has like a cape and shield to him that's made up of like the display stand that he's gonna come with. You know, the effect parts for his blowtorch or his flamethrower there, that's good. It's a nice looking vehicle. Like they did a really, really nice job on the whole thing. I forget if this comes with Grogu or not. Like the rear section where Grogu would sit has a hatch on it. So I'm kind of curious. But no, looking really, really good. I'm going to wait to see what people say about it in hand before I make a call on it, because I think this is going to be... Most collaboratives are pretty easy to get a hold of at retail price for quite a while, so I'm not worried about this one going anywhere. I'll be able to get it if I really want. If I hear good things about it, I will probably go into it. We have the behind-the-scenes post for Age of the Prime's Armada Red Alert, who is looking absolutely fantastic. The post itself is mostly a hype piece, so there really isn't a whole lot of like new info, so we can just enjoy lovely photos of it in hand. And yeah, they have done a really, really good job of capturing the character. He looks a lot bulkier in the right ways. Like the original toy was very lanky in the arms especially. Nice to see the proportions are, you know, suitably, you know, correct for him. Accessory store inside the leg components, so good. That's maintained from the original toy. Really like to see that. Still has the hand switching gimmick. Great to see. I do like that his launcher actually does store away and mount the same way his original one does. They were on the Instagram post calling for suggestions on who else from Armada needs to be done, and like I think the rest of the Decepticons are a must, so like Demolishor and Cyclonus, who have to be in the same series. You can't, like, literally, like, suppose within the same wave or one wave apart from each other, either or, but they are overdue, and that would give us the rest of the original cast. It's weird that Wheeljack is getting a figure that's due any time now, according to my emails. It's weird that Wheeljack is getting a figure before Cyclonus and Demolishor, especially Demolishor, because he's such a good design. I think a lot of people love to see him again. Yeah, it's just all well done. I'm very happy with this. They also try to link his lineage to Prima, and I'm not sure I'm totally sold on like these toys all having lineages to the Primes. That seems a little bit odd, but you know what? Whatever. It's just fluff detail. The toy itself still looks really, really good. We have actual descriptions for the Swapticons. So this is a weird gimmick line that we've seen listings for, but we had no idea what it was going to be, so now we actually have some info. They are going to be $7.97 each, which tells me these are going to be very small. JT Prime, our resident leaker on TFW 2005, reports, yes, they are tiny. They are 2-packs. Each has individual bot modes and then combine into one alt mode. You can mix and match as you please. So, let's just go over this. This is the full rundown of the Ravage and Shadow Panther 2-pack. So, introducing Swapticons. Swapticon toys are fidgety, fun mini action figures that twist to combine together into unique alt modes. Press the figures' heads together and twist to combine them into Panther Beast mode. Untwist to separate them. So interesting. So it seems like there's a locking mechanism where you have to twist in order for them to like fully connect to each other. That's interesting. Also explains why the combinations are what they are. So yeah, Shadow Panther randomly coming up so they can do Ravage. No, okay, that makes sense now. They'll just form one Panther between them. So Grimlock and Snarl. So one Dinobot, Bumblebee, and Hot Rod. Okay, yeah, they can actually share similar color palettes, so I can see that. Optimus and Ultra Magnus, Megatron and Shockwave. Yeah, that actually makes sense. The characters, when you go in with that mindset of like, oh, they're gonna mix together and then you twist them to create the alt mode. Interesting. I'm really curious to see what these are, especially like doing some kind of like some kind of like weird auto combining morph something at that price point. Now, like, I'm very curious how these actually work. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, since we have like the full description here, it won't be too long before we actually see them. Good news if you haven't bought Studio Series 86 Commander Optimus Prime, the heel misassembly seems to have been fixed in the more recent batches. I know a lot of us bought it when it first came out immediately because, oh my god, it looks so good. And it is really, really good. But we are all annoyed that there's a slight misassembly with him that is not quite repairable because it's pinned into place. So, fortunately, we do have numbers that you can find on the box in order to actually confirm whether or not yours is correct or not. So you look here on the bottom of the box underneath the copyright info. So, 42431, 42831 if you're international, and then if you're domestic, 42971. If your primes are in those batches, they should have their feet fixed. So if you are really a stickler for that misassembly, I'm personally not. I barely notice it, if I'm being honest with you. But if you want to make sure yours is like perfect and like exactly the way it was intended, newer batches seem like they're fixed. So good to hear. Speaking of batches of Optimus, we have another look at the upcoming individual release for Optimus Prime, sans cab. And it's still looking pretty good. I'm still not sold on the dark smokestacks. Think they could have done something better to differentiate it from the track fleet set. But that said, nice to see that it's coming out. It's nicely packaged and all that as well. We also found out it is going to be part of the basic line 2025 in Case F. I'm sure to Hot Wheel collectors that means things. So there's just a little bit of information if you are looking out for which wave is actually going to have the Optimus Prime. 3-0 showing off more of their figures. So we saw their Ironhide and Jazz prototypes earlier. Now they've shown off the Bumblebee, and the Bumblebee is looking very, very good. Just like the other figures, it's looking very screen accurate. It looks very solidly built. Details look pretty incredible. But again, all gray prototype, so until we see it in like an in-hand shot of it and we see it in color, we won't know how good these details came out, but looking good so far. Looking optimistic on this one. YOLO Park also showing off things we've technically already seen with their AMK Pro Scourge, but now we have all of the official photos of it. This is looking better and better. You can see all the little speckles across the body to make it look more like worn metal. You can see those little hits and edges of rust all over the toy. It's just looking like an incredibly well-detailed figure of Scourge. Yeah, just really, really impressive work. YOLO Park just goes all out. Like, it is ridiculous how much detail they cram into these toys sometimes. So yeah, like, we've talked about it in the past. I've had this figure. We've talked about this figure. It's a, you know, like we talked about it when it was a model you had to assemble. Now you can get it pre-assembled and built to be an actual action figure with just a ludicrous amount of paint detail. Look at that. Yeah, he is just super impressive the way he looks. To move on, they also showed off more in-hand pictures of their all-translucent AMK Pro Optimus Prime. I'm still not entirely sure why they're going with an all-clear release of the guy, but here we go, just for the people who like that kind of thing. You know me in translucent plastic at this point. I have no idea how this one is going to hold up over time. It does look like the internal components and the things that are going to see the heavier friction are still opaque, so don't worry about, like, hips and elbows and all that breaking. That seems like it's still going to be solid. Don't know about the rest of it. Don't know, but anyway, like, it's nice looking for the people who actually want to take a chance on the clear plastic. I will not be among you. Just to make it clear. That wasn't meant to be a pun. I feel bad now. Let's move on. Another model kit. This is Trumpeter's take on Wheeljack from the Bumblebee movie, and he is looking really, really impressive as well. Jeez, they've just come a long way. Like, the model kit companies for Transformers have just come a long, long way. These are looking so good. These are looking ridiculously good. Yep, details all there. Like seeing the translucent ears. That's a nice little inclusion. Yeah, and you're getting a really nice loadout. That's a very nice cast of figures. I've had the Bumblebee. We've done the Bumblebee on this channel before, so I have an idea of, like, that's the scale here, and yeah, that Wheeljack's got some really nice bulk and heft to him. Yeah, so good on you for if you are a Bumblebee fan. It's been waiting for really good representations. Here you go. Action Battler blind box action figures. We showed off these a little bit too, but we got some more in-hand photos to show off. These are all pre-assembled figures. They're just blind boxed, and they do look pretty good for what they are. Yeah, Nemesis. You know, you have your Nemesis Prime, your Coronation Starscream with incorrectly colored null rays, but we'll ignore that. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a fun little set of figures here, right? Like, I mean, and if you don't like, if you don't like the more like stylized takes, then this is kind of what you go for. These are just like tiny little mini action figures of G1 characters with just enough detail to make them interesting and stand out, but, you know, they're just normal proportion, normal scale, and, well, not normal scale, but like normal sculpt. So, yeah. Starscream, the crown goes over your head. It's supposed to go down. You know what? Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, you do you. Interlocking bases are nice, too. I like when they do that. So, yeah, just a nice little assortment. Yeah, and there you go. Like, that's how it comes packaged. Yeah, just a nice little assortment of toys. So, good job. Good job. These are neat. I might pick up a couple of these just to see how they are. Just out of curiosity. If you want to see the script for Transformers 1, it is currently available online in PDF form. So this does give you a lot more context to what's going on in the movie. There are some scenes that were changed. There is some dialogue present in the script that wasn't present in the movie. So if you want a little bit more clarification about what was going on, or if you're just curious about what got scrapped, then by all means, go over to IndieWire or just over to TFW 2005. Find this article and click on the link. It'll take you straight there. Like, yeah, literally, it's a link to the PDF itself. Speaking of Transformers 1, Brian Tyree Henry is actually up for an Annie Award for his performance as D16 and Megatron. I've seen a lot of people who really loved his performance. There's someone on TikTok whose whole thing is just doing different memes. If it rhymes with the word rise, and a lot of things rhyme with the word rise, he will do a D16 style rise up speech in its style. You know, it's a blast. So, yeah, I know a lot of people who have actually really, really been into this take on Megatron. I've even known people who call it their favorite iteration of Megatron. That says a lot. And if he gets an actual award for it, congratulations. Very, very deserved. Let's see. Who are we up against? Two from the Wild Robot. That's... That might be tricky. That's a good movie. Inside Out 2, that one did huge money, so that one might be... honestly, that might be the winner there. If they're going by popularity and not, like, quality, we don't know. I don't know how the Annie Awards work, to be honest with you. But no, there's some really good performances here that Brian is up against, so good luck to him. And we're going to finish it off with probably one of the weirdest products I've ever seen for Transformers. Transformers branded protein powder. Okay. So you can get swole with Optimus Prime's mixed berry cheesecake. Or Megatron's PB cookie and cream. This is so weird. This is so weird. What? You want the 7-year-old to bulk up? See, like, if this was catered to adults or something and you had G1 Optimus Prime on there, or even movie Optimus Prime, okay, fine. But it's evergreen. It's the evergreen designs that they usually use for things aimed at kids. It's weird. Okay, Vanilla Honey Graham for Bumblebee. At least it's yellow, kinda. It's so weird. It's such a weird product. And it gets weirder. It gets weirder because inside is a little die-cast figurine of a Transformer character. There are 32 in all, and they want you to collect them all. I don't know if protein powder is something you want to blind box. Like, how long are these going to be available? How long does it really take to go through a can of protein powder? Obviously, I don't work out, so I don't know for myself. That seems like a weird thing to include a toy prize in. It's like, I don't see protein powder as something kids generally need. So, why? Why include a prize like it's a cereal box? So that is the oddball of the week, and I have to end there because what is going to get weirder than that? So, as always, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.
Analysis complete. Adapting translators to local language.
Are you out there?